Hi, everyone. This is Patrice with the Positivity Corner, and I am back with more reaction videos and a new artist. We went way back, didn't we, to the 1950s with one of my all-time favorites, right? Fats Domino and Little Richard. That was a lot of fun. We're into the mid to late 60s now, and we're talking about a band. And what a band they were for a short window of time. They were founded in 1966. Basically, by 1972, they had pretty much flamed out. They did some more albums into the mid 70s, but due to a variety of personal and professional struggles, it was pretty much over for them, and that's a shame. I'm talking about the band that was led by Sylvester Stewart. That is his real name. His stage name is Sly Stone, and I'm talking about Sly and the Family Stone. What a band. They are so influential in soul music and rock. Their albums, especially those late 60s, very early 70s albums, are masterpieces. Absolute masterpieces. And if you are not familiar with Sly and the Family Stone, this is another one where I think you need to get some musical education, folks. If Little Richard is considered one of the architects of rock and roll, Sly Stone is one of the architects of funk and what is known as psychedelic soul. Remember, I talked about the Temptations and how they changed their sound in the late 1960s, and they got into what I called psychedelic soul, starting with Cloud Nine. It was because of Sly Stone and those albums that Sly and the Family Stone were putting out at that time. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon because it was damn good music. It was different from just about anything else that was out at the time, and it was good and damn funky. Sly Stone, George Clinton, James Brown, the foundation of funk music. Really important. And unfortunately, due to his truncated, I guess, career, he's still alive, but does not record. Doesn't tour, doesn't do anything. He's in his 70s, I believe. And it's really a shame. But those few albums that they had, I think as a group, there were maybe about 11, and then there were a few that he did under his own name. It's not a whole lot with him, but those early albums in the late 60s and very early 70s, top stuff. Funk is a lot of things. It has, heavy bass lines, heavy drum lines. In Sly's case, he played multiple instruments, but he was primarily known for his keyboards. The group was really interesting at the time, and they really stood out when they first started charting primarily because the group was integrated. We're talking, mid to late 60s here. That was very unusual. They had two white group members in the group, and that was very unusual at the time. Also, they had two women. One who sang, and they both played instruments, but one of them, Cynthia Robinson, she played the trumpet. And she, I believe, is the first female trumpet player to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because Sly and the Family Stone were inducted in the early 90s into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And also, it was kind of a family affair. Sly Stone's sister was in the band, and his brother. And Cynthia was cousins with bass player extraordinaire Larry Graham. So it's kind of a fun, kind of a family affair as well. They burst onto the scene in the late 60s, and what I'm going to play for you right now is from 1968. This is the first song I possibly ever heard from them. It was a hit. It was definitely a hit. And it was the first single that they had that got into the top 10 on the Billboard. They had actually done an album, at least one other album previous to this one, and it didn't do well. But this one did really well. And it's funny because the band members didn't particularly like the song. Clive Davis, who of course is the famous record executive, he wanted something that was more commercially viable from them than what they had been doing previously. And what Sly did famously was kind of a formula, and they had that kind of psychedelic soul, psychedelic rock sound. He combined it to make it more pop friendly, and this is what they got. I think it's a great song, and it was considered pretty radical at the time, even though they had toned down the psychedelic stuff and went more pop. What's unusual about the song is that it's a real blend of the instrumentals. You've got Larry Graham's iconic bass line. You've got the drums going. You've got kind of like a rock guitar. You've got Sly playing basically gospel on the organ, and then you have horns. Also, 4 people are singing on the song. They're kind of swapping the leads on it, and that is a trademark of the band as well. And it's just a banger. That too. I mean, it's a banger. It's a party song, it does exactly what it's telling you to do in the title. And I just want to say, I think I said 1968. This is 1967. And it's a great song. It's a great song. What can you say? And we loved it. I mean, as soon as it came on, we loved it. We absolutely loved it. This is Sly and the Family Stone from 1967. And it's called Dance to the Music.
Some bottom so that the dancer just won't hide. You might like to hear my organ. I said right, Sally, right now. Cynthia, yeah, if I could hear the horns blow, Cynthia on the throne, listen to me. Cynthia and Jerry got a message that said, all the squares were listen to the voices. Dance to the music. Dance to the music. Dance to the music.
We had never heard anything like that before, and we loved it. Oh, fun fact. There's actually a reference in the song to another music icon. He says, "Ride, Sally, ride." That's from the fantastic Wilson Pickett, and he'll be on this channel. That's from Mustang Sally, which came out the year before in 1966. I like when they do stuff like that, don't you? As always, this is the Positivity Corner with Patrice. Please like, share, subscribe, comment for further content, and I will be back with some more from Sly and the Family Stone.